Welcome back, and you know it must be big news when we're uploading again. Dejounte Murray traded to the Atlanta Hawks for Danilo Gallinari and three first-round picks. Our resident Hawks fans ready to break this down, Ishan. Immediate thoughts.
So when I first heard the rumors about DeJounte, I really liked it. He's a big guard. He can defend. He can score. He's a really good playmaker and a rebounder. So he's a total package. And I think he's going to fit really, really well next to Trae Young. He has the size. He has the on-ball ability. And I think with Trae Young, it's going to push Trae Young to play off-ball a lot more. And that's going to be huge in his development. It's going to separate him from a Steph Curry type development, which is what I want, as opposed to a James Harden type development where the whole offense runs through him. So I think this is really good for DeJounte, obviously, for the Hawks and their defense, and for Trae as well. It's going to be a big stride in his career.
When I first heard the rumors, I didn't really see the legitimacy of the rumors because I look at the situation with the Spurs and they're like the young team with a lot of young players. Dejounte just broke onto an All-Star, 2 years of a young contract. There's no like rumblings of he's not disgruntled or anything. Like, oh, why would they want to trade their All-Star? Like, there doesn't really seem to be a reason for them to get rid of him, especially for like such a low price. I mean, if you consider the
Yeah.
recent trades, where Paul George was like 5 first rounders and SGA, like,
Dude, it was eight. It was like eight.
dude, it was way too many. Drew Holiday was like four
And
plus.
that's what they wanted. They wanted a Drew Holiday type deal. That was that's what they explicitly said. At least three first round picks. And I think there's one reason why. And it's one guy from France named Victor Wembanyama. Right now, the projected number one pick, 7'2", quote unquote unicorn with a 7'8" wingspan. People have compared him to a mix of Kevin Durant and Rudy Gobert. Don't know the legitimacy of that, but he is probably the best prospect the prospect that analysts have been raving the most about since LeBron James. And not only Victor Wembanyama, but you have Scooter Henderson, Nick Smith. Next year's draft class is turning out to be really, really good. And those picks at the top are going to be more valuable than ever, especially for Henderson or Wembanyama. And so you're going to see a lot of teams relinquishing their best players to try to tank for Victor.
I can see the legitimacy of that. I mean, they weren't going to make it out of the West, considering how strong of a
Exactly.
conference it's become. So I can see the argument for that, but just the return they get is just surprisingly lackluster. So let's talk about how those picks are
Yeah.
going to turn out. Let's talk about the Hawks' future. What is this going to mean for them? A backcourt pairing of Dejounte and Trae Young, because I have reservations at first because you put a backcourt of two uh,
2 point guards.
facilitators, 2 point guards.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
these guys were third and fourth in the league in assists per game. Like these guys are two of the best playmakers in the league. Having two playmakers on the same team in the same backcourt is something that you don't ever. I couldn't think. I was trying to go through the assist rankings, and there wasn't a single team with like any backcourt combination of 5+ assists. Like you don't see a backcourt pairing averaging 9 assists a game each. Like how is this
Exactly.
pairing going to work, and how is this going to pan out for the Hawks offense? Resident expert.
I think number one, you'll see situations where it's gonna be easier for Nate McMillan to pull them out of the game to pull them out of games and have one facilitate, one run the show while the other's on the bench if they're fatigued. And I think you'll see more fluidity in the guard spots. I think as Trey learns to play off ball more, he might be used more as a kind of an two guard that might be there to shoot. Obviously, his playmaking ability I think is his best trait, but you'll see kind of fluid interchanging at the one position where DeJounte might take the ball up one time and then Trey might, and the other one is there DeJounte to slash or Trey to shoot, and then on defense, basically DeJounte is going to be the one picking up the better guard. So instead of Steph Curry trying to ISO on Trae Young the whole game, you put Trae Young on someone else, and now you have DeJounte Murray stepping up and actually providing a formidable defensive matchup.
Yeah, and the Hawks, I think they do a good job pairing, like outside of their obviously their playmaking ability. They do a good job pairing their skills. Trae Young's the shooter,
Mm-hmm.
Dejounte's not as good as a shooter, but the defense and those kind of balance out.
Yeah,
And also you have to think about 2 years of a relatively team friendly contract, 16 a year. I mean, for the Hawks, I mean, they are gonna be paying a lot of luxury tax, and I mean, they're about like 200 million in total cap right now. They saved a
yeah,
little bit on this deal because of I think Gallo's 21 million.
Gallo was 21, and he was expiring, so we probably would have let him go. But this way, we're getting high value back for Gallo's bad contract, and there is a 90+% chance that John Collins is not going to be on the team next year. So you're getting rid of a big, I think $25 million, correct me if I'm wrong, contract relinquished there too. So I'm kind of interested to see what they're going to do with John Collins now.
So run down the lineup for next season. Do you think it'll be Capella, Hunter, Murray, Young, and who's running the 3 4 spot there? Who's running the three? AJ Griffin, first year, or is
I don't. That's where I'm a little confused. I think you have two routes. You go Trae, Murray, Bogey, and Hunter, and that's going to be a little bit more of an undersized offensive shooting type team with Capella at the five, obviously. Or you go Trae, Murray. You either put Bogey or Hunter at the three, and then you go out and get somebody for that four spot. You could see a Kongu sliding in there at times. I think he's more of an undersized five,
but that Jackson
but
Hayes kind of you could play him at the 4.
exactly, absolutely right. Because he is 6'9", so he has that size, but just his skill set is more centerish. But I think at this point, if I were the Hawks, I'd probably go out shopping for a power forward, see what you can get at the position for John Collins.
And as we wrap it up, let's talk about outlook for this season. How do you think they can finish in the Eastern Conference, considering how top loaded it is?
So personally, I think the top to bottom, the Heat, Celtics, Bucks, and Philly, with or without Harden, will probably finish higher than them. I can see him in that tier with teams like Toronto, where they have a couple All-Stars, really good supporting cast. And Toronto is a great team, don't get me wrong. But I think you're not going to win two championships. You're not going to win championships when your All-Stars are backcourt players. You need a wing. We've seen with Boston, with Golden State, how important wings are with the game. So they're going to need some kind of upgrade there and at the power forward position to really be in a contending spot. But I could see them making a top five in the East push.